Welcome back to Seller Sessions. I am super excited about this one for a couple of reasons. I've got my man Colin Raja here, who I met actually at Seller Sessions Live last May. So coming up on just about a year ago. And if you've ever met him or seen him, he's just a bigger than life personality. He's one of those people that just magnetizes. He's just fun to be around. So that's how I met him. And then we really just kind of started kind of riffing and chatting and kind of understanding what we're all about. And he's just a fascinating human being. But most importantly for Amazon sellers, Colin has been deep into the world of product launches really for the last 5+ years. He became more public and kind of taking on clients and stuff the last couple years. But this is a guy who lives and breathes launches. He's done hundreds of launches the last year. He's an expert in the space. If I ever have questions about, hey, what's the latest, greatest, what's happening, what do I need to be doing? Colin's the dude. He's super technical. He's run stuff for a lot of different brands in virtually every category. He's an amazing guy. He just wants to dump value first, my kind of people. So Colin, dude, I'm really excited to have you on. Welcome to Seller Sessions. Excited to jam on product launches for Amazon sellers.
Yo, thanks for the great intro, bro. I feel the freaking same thing with you. I've been following you for so long. You inspire me in a lot of different way. And you and me have like a similar kind of stories. When I connected with you and then we talk about it, we have like a crazy similar stories. And that got us more closer actually. Like, yo, dude, how the fuck we are not connected yet actually?
Yeah.
This is funny that why we are not yet. And yeah, bro, you inspire me in a lot of different ways. Just to let you know, in front of everybody, you're an amazing dude. And thanks for having me in. Thank you.
Yeah, love it, man. Yeah, and again, one of my other favorite things to do too is as Amazon sellers, there's probably like somewhere between like 6 and 8 functions that you kind of they're balls in the air, right? You kind of got to be juggling supply chain operations, team, pay-per-click listings, creative, margins, financials. Like there's a lot of different moving parts. And I think most successful Amazon sellers are like 75% good at a lot of different things. You know, we're generalists, right? We have to be good at a lot of different things. But because there's a lot of moving parts and maybe we've got 1, 2, 3 brands, we don't necessarily have the capacity or frankly the interest to be obsessive about one specific thing. And so I think because of that, and you're not living and breathing one particular function, you don't necessarily know that remaining 25%. So you can be successful, you know enough to be dangerous. But I really love people that are obsessive about a singular area of an Amazon business and they live and breathe it. And I think what also stems from that, you've done hundreds of launches here the last year plus, is you just get access to more categories, more situations, things that have worked, things that haven't. Whereas if an average seller maybe does 5 launches a year, they're just not going to see that, and they may only see it in their particular business. So you kind of have blinders on. So I think the benefit of this conversation for me, and I think for the audience, is to tap into the brain of one of those crazy psychos that just loves a particular area. And in your case, it's product launches. Yeah. So let's kind of maybe like talk history a little bit, because my experience with Amazon, when I first started launching products, building brands, it was kind of just before the search, find, buy era. So you could kind of just like throw stuff up. If you had a pretty decent offer, even like half-ass images, you could kind of make it work. And then there was like they cracked down on doing free reviews. So that was kind of, that loophole was closed. And then there was the whole search, find, buy era. Again, kind of hacky, right? Like you could basically force the algorithm to rank you and it worked, but it wasn't necessarily authentic or how you would build a traditional business. And then COVID boom, kind of search, find, buy started getting kind of clipped. A lot of people got into trouble. And then I think we've kind of frankly since then been in this weird kind of no man's land where it's like, do I just do pay-per-click? Do I run external traffic? We now have social shopping and video. And I don't think that there's been a definitive playbook for this is how you go about approaching launches. And I also think that a lot of sellers and competitors, especially those in Asia, understand keywords. So like I think kind of people understand the keyword game. And I just think some of those advantages and those arbitrage opportunities when it comes to launches aren't as definitive as they used to be. So walk me through again. You've been doing this 5+ years and really been focused on it and helping other sellers the last couple years. talk to me about like how launches have changed and maybe where we're landing now.
Sure. No, I've been doing this for, I started Amazon 2014, 2015,
Oh,
actually. Yeah.
OG. Yeah.
Like, yeah, crazy. That time is like a crazy. I was like, it was an interesting time. I mean, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Like, seriously. Like, but the one thing is like, what I got in my college is like, I never passed tests. It's crazy. But still, I go and then like re- try to prepare for my next exam. I know that I'm going to fail actually on the previous one. So that attitude picked me in, like in terms of like, okay, whatever fuck it is, let's do the work. The results comes positive or negative. Let's put down the work. Actually, what we need to do. That's all we can control. Let's do that one. So when it comes to 2015, I did the whole video series of the history of Amazon algorithm. Actually, in 2015, it's basically like a just general keyword matching algorithm. Actually, so then we evolved to machine learning, then we evolved to NLP, and then when we evolved to the EQR, and also like right now we are literally like in terms of like a functioning EQR model. That's what we are at this point, engagement model at this point. So what I seen is before is basically in before 2017, 2016 and all, we don't have a lot of data. We have like a very huge small amount of data. There's no lot of tools available. Celebro does not exist. I mean, Jungle's card was there, but is not more efficient at the time in terms of like a lot of keywords data. Right now, we have huge amount of data. Amazon brand analytics data, SQP data, PPC, even like you're getting like a huge amount of data for everything actually at that point. So what I'm seeing is like the people, what happened is like they from the beginning we started engaging on hacks and tricks to launch the product. We started it's like everybody started following the same thing. Everybody looking for a one good hack.
Yep.
Everybody looking for like a one good tricks they can make the business much better actually. But the point is when you follow the data, you create hacks, you
Okay.
create tricks. So that's the fundamental gap what I found in the recent era, and why specifically right now is like the one hack, one trick, it's not going to work anymore actually in your business. The previously we take a one hack, look, give away like crazy, and then like you pop in for all of the keywords, right? We don't even know how that happens right before,
Yep.
right? Right now, if you don't focus on like each and every, it's not a product launch anymore. It is a keyword launch.
Love that.
You need to be focused on each and every individual keyword based on the browse node, sub browse node, category, product type, and item type, GL, DOW, and each and every keyword needs to be taken care. If that's not, then you're not running a business. You're in like a completely in a different world of like la la land, I will call. You have no idea what's going on, but you think like, if that works, I double it. If it doesn't work, I'll dump it actually.
Okay.
It
So
doesn't
let's
happen like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, and I think that history makes a lot of sense. Just, and you mentioned something I've actually never heard of before, EQR. Can you define what that is?
It's called engagement query based model. Actually, let me
Okay.
put that. I'm completely forgot.
No,
Yeah,
that
engagement query based model. Actually, basically that's what it is. If I'm not wrong, actually. So and also the NLP semantic keyword approach. Right now, before we are like a relevancy model in 2017, 2018. Right now, we are like a dynamic re-ranking model.
okay.
So
So walk me
re-rank.
through how the mechanics of that are different. Because I think a lot of sellers, you hear Cosmo, you hear Rufus, you hear
Yeah,
all this
those are
stuff, and
like
and there's a
yeah.
lot of data to back it up. But in terms of the application that you've seen and some of the data coming out of real launches, what describe to me how some of those shifts might be happening.
Cosmo, see, based on my experience, right? Completely based on my experience, what I'm going through. Cosmos or Rufus are branches in the root algorithm, actually,
Okay.
basically,
Yep.
right? So you learn it, you take advantage of small pieces of it,
Yes.
right? But the base is one, actually. The base is built upon layer by layer.
Agreed.
The basic search is still exists, and then machine learning still exists, and NLP and semantic mapping still exists, EQR still exists, and relevancy model still exists. But the
Yep.
point is prioritization changed.
Got it. Makes a lot of
So the
sense.
prioritization is basically from the basic match to like a semantic mapping is it gives the higher priority right now.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like the whatever previously it works, but it's a very low priority that doesn't work, that does not apply anymore. But assume that you're in a category of people who have no idea what they're doing. They still believes in basic search algorithm, right? The whole category I'm talking about, the whole category of subcategory, they believe in like a basic search algorithm actually, right? And if you're doing the same thing, you're gonna be like competing against the same thing, like a basic search algorithm actually again. But one of you guy is like taking like a current algorithm and apply the strategy of the current algorithm, and he's gonna be run over on top of everybody actually at that point.
Yeah. And I love what you said too, because I think this aligns with kind of how it's landing for me, which is Amazon is always going to be stacking new things to optimize. I call it incremental gains.
Exactly.
So I don't think when we see these what feel like tectonic shifts and fundamental adjustments, I don't know what those balloons are if you're watching the video. Um, Thanks Riverside for doing balloons. But I think it's not like Amazon's wiping the slate clean and doing an entirely new algorithm. I think what they're trying to do, much like us as Amazon sellers are trying to do, is take a conversion rate from 12% to 14%. And at Amazon's level, those incremental gains are billions of dollars. And so I think the stacking that we've been seeing and the adjustments that we've been mapping, especially we've seen a lot of this over the last year, is Amazon taking a foundation and, to your point, maybe it's adjusting the weighting of how the algorithm identifies ranking, and it's adding new pieces of the puzzle for incremental gains. So I think the fundamentals probably haven't shifted. You know, like keywords still matter, all these things matter, but these incremental things and paying attention to those are what's going to set you aside from somebody playing a game that's 2 years old. So speaking to those more recent shifts that we've seen like the last year, and you say like people that identify those in a particular category can really have a significant advantage over the people that are slower to adopt them. What are some of those new things that you've seen and
Yeah.
implemented in launches that you've been working on?
I don't know. See, okay, again, I'm put the full disclaimer. I don't know the science behind it. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't got to that point yet, actually, but I've seen experimentally very strong about this. Okay, I think Amazon page loaders, they're trying to reduce the page load. It's basically like what they want is basically they want the page to be faster. When you have stuffed the keyword, and when you're like put up like a garbage in your listing like crazy, your page load obviously is going to be down,
Okay. Interesting.
right?
And when you say
So
page load, is that literally just how quickly
the
in
Amazon page load,
microseconds then a listing shows
yeah,
up? Okay.
exactly. So it's like
Okay.
they are focused on any website you have, they
Of
focus
course.
on page load, right?
Yep.
I mean, what I'm assuming is basically they come up with like a semantic mapping, which is basically you don't have to dump keywords.
Okay.
So basically, you don't have to put all the keywords. Why? Because if you index for one keyword, you index for 30 keywords actually.
Yep.
And you don't even have to index for certain keywords. You can automatically rank for it as well,
Yep.
completely, right? So what I'm seeing is at this point, so they're trying to avoid the page load, right?
Okay.
Reduce the page load. That's the first thing. Second theory, again, what I seen it as well. So their primary focus is like a very purchase intent actually.
Okay.
So they don't want anybody who's coming up with a garbage keyword, browse keywords, right? Coming and searching for something and they never be able to purchase. They just clicking, adding, and everything. They
Yep.
focus on purchase intent completely.
Okay.
So they want keyword people to be coming in and then purchase and get the fuck out of here, actually, right?
Yep.
That's what they want, actually. That's what I find. So they focus so much on purchase intent to making sure people are like coming in and purchasing and finishing up the conversion, actually, very well.
Okay.
Um, Third thing, what I'm finding is basically because of the AI thing, everything is showing up at this point. They are very getting smart with the Cosmos and Rufus and every single thing at this point. And also they're building like a crazy AI search as well. It's all happening in the backend. That's I have a very limited information on that one, but I'm seeing the trend of data was coming up, actually, something like that. What is going on is like they don't want to see any more generalized listing.
Okay.
They want more personalized listing. So what I defined is like I find five different users actually, buyers actually, um, I- on top of my head, which is like okay, professional users, professional buyers, and then value buyers, gift buyers, seasonal buyers, and the other one was like I forgot these two things. I have a whole documentation about that one. So if it comes to a professional use buyers, they don't care about the pricing. They care about what are they getting. Is it going to enhance their life actually? Is this going to be like give them what they want actually? Is it more technical? So for them, you don't need to give them like, oh, you get this as well. They don't need that one. They want more technical, they want more analysis, they want like more certification, they want like more detailed things that we're using it actually at that point, right? What How they use it and how they get it. But if it comes to value buyers, they want every buck what they're spending, they want the better value for it. So
Yep.
for them, if you give like okay, this garlic press comes with the cleaner plus cover plus this, and you include all the things actually in a one package, then it will be like for them it's like oh my god, this is so valuable actually because I'm getting everything at a one package. It's super good actually. But when it comes to a professional, for example, let's say that there is a chef who's buying it, he's not going to see that way actually. The
Got it.
chef who's buying it is going to be like look at the quality, how long it can last, how good it's going to look, and then how professional it's going to come out actually, what he needs actually. So this is how they differentiate the listing. And then I have seen huge shift on that one when you make a audience based listing than a generic listing. So we were able to take over the products right now, who is like create a generic photoshopped version of it, compared to making a very specific audience related. It's taking over pretty well actually at this point.
Okay, that makes sense. So, and I actually like the fact that you're like, look, I kind of know what's going on with the algorithm, but I don't really know all the science and technicalities. Obviously, we're on seller sessions. Danny, Awana, and the team there, they're the ones that go in and create
Yeah,
the 30-page documents, which I think is super valuable for us to understand what's happening underneath the hood. What I like about you though is it's like, okay, now we're taking this and what does it actually mean when we're in the real world launching products? So I come to you with a listing and I realize that this is very situational, but your general approach when you're looking at a new launch in today's Amazon, what are some of the things that you think about and what are some of the things that you do strategically that you found to increase the chances of success? And I
sure.
say a caveat, you got to have a good offer. You got like all those things, assuming
Yeah.
you've got a good offer, good product, good images, all the rest of it. But like imagine your offers in place. What are the things strategically that you look at and do as you piece together a launch?
Sure. Yeah. Before we go on that one, I want to add this one actually. I'm very deep in science as well, but
Okay,
since I've
cool.
had like so much data piece in the front of it, and then to go and then cross reference, I'm like literally like, why am I doing it? I'm seeing A plus B like this.
Yeah,
So there is something in the middle. Now we practically seeing it actually at that point.
I love that.
So I love that part of it. I'm a very big seeker on that one. So I seek a lot on that topic. So going back to that, so let's say that you got the product, right? And if you want to launch and relaunch actually the product, so these are the parameter I divide this products actually launch, right? First of all, why do we have enough meat in the bone actually? First of all,
Okay,
right?
and what do you mean
Do
by
we have,
that?
do we have like a do we have like is it like a super saturated market?
Okay,
Do
got it.
we have like people like playing with the pricing? Are they like dumping you with the pricing? What's going on there actually? That's the
Okay,
first question, right? If not, how you can differentiate it? If you don't wanna dump in there and jump into that like that, how you can differentiate? The basic fundamental is like this actually. Basic either you need to be good in product development or you need to be good in like a launches actually. If you're both, you're amazing at that point.
yeah,
If you have one of this, you'll be like do really good actually as well,
yep.
right? So the fundamental thing, what I think is basically what is important is to understand why you're winning and why your competitor is winning.
Okay,
That's a fundamental, most important thing. Not a lot of people do this actually. For example, let's break it down. In the front end, use a product opinion tool, right? Find out why certain competitor was taking higher clicks. Why? What is the reason for it? Break it down into a listing level, image level, and also all the content level completely. Find out what's going on actually there and make your listing. Don't even change anything. Exactly what the comments you got, make that one actually in your listing completely. Right?
Yep.
That's the first level of it. The second level is like, okay, what is in a middleware actually? What kind of keywords you're using? Are you using generalized listing? How your competitor was winning in terms of like what's the listing, what they use, or what kind of keywords you're using, what kind of keywords they're focusing on, and what is your backend looks like? Are you in the right browse node? Are you in the right product type, item type? All the backends are aligned really properly. If not, this is where I said, okay, if you want to drive fast in the road, right, you need to have like a pretty amazing road actually. Not only the bike,
Yes.
the bike
Agreed.
only ride fast.
It's a
It's
great
not
analogy.
matter. Your road needs to be like a very clean to drive fast, right? So Amazon backend is like a road actually. What are you putting it on?
Love that.
If your road is not clear, it doesn't matter how big engine you have, you're gonna be like bump it, dump it like everywhere. You're gonna stop there actually somewhere.
Yep.
So make your road very clear and make sure your competitor when you are having the same road actually you're driving in the same road, so that's where you're driving in the same path, which is like the browse node category and all this thing actually. If something is changed, you're taking a different direction, but he's going in a straight direction, you're gonna be like take a U-turn and going all over actually completely. Right?
So
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 make sure you
practically speaking, you can obviously understand what browse node a competitor is, again, identifying the ones that are winning and that are more correlative to what you're looking to
yeah.
do. Is there specific things with flat files and attributes and other things behind the scenes which you may not see from a competitor that you actually layer into the process as well to make sure that you have the right road to start?
No, there is a manual way, there is an automated way we can do it. We made it automated in our
Okay.
using our internal tool actually. The manual way how to do it is basically go on and check. Okay, there are most important thing refinements, optional attributes actually, and
Okay.
browse notes, product app, right? These are like publicly available data. You could call Amazon and ask them what is the competitor DOW, what is the competitor GL, and what is the competitor product type and item type actually completely straight,
Interesting.
and you can go into like the Amazon and the inspect element of it, go on and find out product type, DOW, all this information.
Okay.
All we need to do is like make sure that are we matching with each other,
Okay.
or if they are not matching, if the guy was like a super old listing and he's not aligned, you make it yourself aligned. He's winning because of the sales. He's winning it actually because
Okay.
it's old listing. So he's
Yep.
not compliance with the new algorithm at this point.
Okay.
So you better compliance with that so you can able to drive along with them very well actually at that point.
Okay.
So that comes in a middle layer actually completely, right? And the back end, the other setup is like a keyword. You already have a Celebro and you have like data dive and all of the tools at this point, so you can find out exactly what's going on actually.
Yep.
How much 5% top 5% keywords he ranked for? What is the 10% he ranked for? What is the 15%? What is the 35%? What is 45%? I mean, I don't see the any kind of worth it checking it after 45, 15 actually. Why? Because most
Agreed.
of the sales done in the 15 itself, top 15.
Yep.
Fine. So you can able to gauge, okay, this guy ranked for 45 keywords. It has like a 500,000 search volume he ranked for actually. So he was making 2,000 sales. The second guy is ranked for 25 keywords. He ranked for his search volume is like 25,000, right? So he was able to make 1,000 sales. So third guy was like ranked for 15 keywords. He's only ranked for like 15,000. Oh, okay. He's making like a 900 sales. Okay. All right. So if I place myself between 35 to 19 or 15, I can able to get around like 1,000 sales if only if all my front end and then the roads what I'm talking about like a backend optimization are done it right, then you probably able to be get there. No reason that you now it's not going to work actually.
Okay.
It's a very calculative decision which you're going to make. So how many keywords you need, each keyword how much gonna cost you to rank it actually. So calculate it, and then at that point of time, you will have a budget of this launch is going to cost you this much,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Then you can make a decision. Okay, what is my ROI? Most of the time, what I see, it takes 3 to 4 months for you to investment to get the returns back actually completely.
Yep.
You break even between 3 to 4 months completely,
Yep.
right? And after that, you how to maintain the listing, how you maintain the listing, that's going to give you the ROI completely for you.
Okay, so let's say you've got the road, and I love that analogy, by the way. So you've got your road right. You've done kind of a look at, say, the top 3 to 5. And using your example, let's say, hey, we want to rank for between like 15 and 30 of these keywords. We know that they're the ones that matter, and our road's right, so we'll be able to map to them. Pragmatically speaking, I'm ready to launch in 2 days. Which keywords do you focus on? Is it a pay-per-click strategy? Are you running external traffic? How are you sending and mapping those signals in addition to the road that you've built with the backend listing to make that work? And then obviously once you're in the fight, I always kind of call it like it's all theory until Mike Tyson says it's, I can't remember the analogy.
Everybody get a punch. Everybody
Yeah,
have a punch.
yeah. And once you get punched in the face, it's a different ballgame. And obviously every launch has its own punches in the face. But how do you approach those 19 to say 30 keywords? Which ones do you target? Do you target all of them? Are you using exact match? What are you integrating in the listing? Just curious how the battle plan starts to roll out before you launch, and then we can kind of discuss what happens once the punches start flying.
I love that. I love that quote, man. Everybody has a plan until you have a punch in your face. But
Yeah.
I'm looking for a punch in my face all the time, bro. That's one of the secret thing that what I want to tell people. Don't even avoid that one. That's where the magic happen.
Agreed.
The punch on your face is a magic where you can realize, oh, I got a punch right now. Now, what is the next action I need to take?
Yeah, you taste the blood in your mouth, and it gives you a new path,
new perspective. Like, see, the point is when you got a punch, you either froze or like stumble. Like, what the fuck I can do actually? The next one. I'm a boxer. I know exactly what is happening actually.
Yeah.
Right. So I felt like whenever I get a punch, I get like I'm super excited because I know that I'm going to solve it,
Love it.
and I know that I'm going to find out what is the problem with that one. So I'm super cool with that one. So going back to the question, right? So can you repeat one more time? I'm sorry.
So like again, let's say that we've done all the things that you talked about properly. You've got call between 15 and 30 keywords. Like day one of launch, how do we go about it? Like, are we targeting all keywords? Are we focusing on ones that are lower volume? Are we doing single keyword? Are we running external Google ads to it? Like, what is tactically? What are we doing?
100%. Okay, this is one of my favorite topic. Actually, I don't think I shared this information everywhere, but I'm gonna share this one here right now.
Love it.
So, when it's as I mentioned before, right now at this point, in this precise second, Amazon focus on purchase intent.
Okay.
There is no point of like taking a browse keyword and launching it. Actually, there's no reason for it.
Yep.
Okay, that's the first thing. So second, when it comes to a launch, what we look for, like we have a competitor analysis sheet. We look for like how many people rank for what keyword, what I talked about before. What is the common things that people talks about? What's the common ranking? What they ranked in the purchase keyword actually, right?
Okay.
We take those keywords and also apply those keywords in our listing and content, everything completely. But you don't even have to have like 1,000 search volume. You can have like even like a 500 search volume. The secret is if you rank for all the purchase keyword, your browse keyword automatically get ranked.
Love it. And those are the ones, the browse keywords are probably the ones that are more expensive on a cost per click.
More
because
expensive
volumetrically, there's more demand for people to bid on those keywords, especially top of search.
People could come on in a listing and then try say like, okay, I'm going to run up for a garlic press actually. No, everybody can do it. But what are you differentiating within yourself, right? How are you differentiating yourself? So it's basically you take like a purchase keywords completely like crazy and then run the launch on the first one. Here's the most important thing happen. When you run the PPC launch, right, on the first week of it, right? Even if you're doing a relaunch, we do the test launch actually on the first week. You will be able to see not only that keyword growing, you will see automatically some kind of keywords are like coming up automatically.
Yep.
We have no idea why. There are so many reasons. There's a whole day to talk about that reasons actually. Yeah. But I call those are like Amazon recognized keyword. We can even say like Amazon loved keywords for your listing actually.
Yeah.
Right. So that means Amazon find those keywords are more relevant for you. So what I would do is like first we do the test launch and find out how we doing the test launch. If we rank for it, we try to build the momentum actually on top of it. If you didn't rank for it, if you like mediocrely rank for it, but all of the keywords are ranked, mother keywords are ranking, we take those keywords and like go back to the browse keyword and take all the purchase keyword from there. We focus on that keyword. So how we structure our launch is basically we take one browse keyword and a purchase keyword. Recently we added this. It's working phenomenally well, which is like we take a semantic keyword and all of the mapping keywords. Well, because that's what Amazon does right now. If you take a look, if you put up like a keyword and they take like n-gram algorithm, it divide into small pieces, and then they look for related semantic keywords actually, and combine all those things and seeing that if this keywords, if these products are matching for you actually completely, right? So basically, so what we did is like basically when we ranked, when we some keyword is ranked, we check, is it like semantically mapped keywords we need to choose it, or we need to be like group product group keywords we need to be choose it actually, right? So based on that we'll decide whether we want to go for like a group or we go for like a semantic map actually. So another important thing what I want to share is like basically here, this is what most interesting thing what happened. Not all keyword treat same level. Every keyword act differently. Every keyword require a special level of attention. So as I mentioned before, it's not a product launch, it's a keyword launch completely, right? You need to take the keywords in a transition from pre-launch, launch, growth, and maintenance phase actually. So
Okay.
each and everything has like a separate KPI. In a pre-launch, you're not spending any money, you're just preparing. In the launch, you're gonna be like ACOS is gonna be crazy. Your tacos will be crazy actually. On the growth, you're probably gonna maintain it like a 25 to 30% tacos, well, because you want to build them, keep the momentum. In the maintenance, you keep it in the tacos of like a 10 to 15% actually
Yep.
maximum.
Makes sense.
Right. So you need to transition that process very clear, and each every keyword has a specific way to as I mentioned, like specific way to handle it. So there is a level of measurement actually. Some keyword you just put the listing and launch it, second day you will able to see like keywords are ranking. That's a simple C1 keyword. I say complexity one keyword. Some keyword you run a PPC, you get ranked. Some keyword you run a PPC plus traffic, you get ranked.
Okay.
Some keyword you need to run a keyword and then external traffic, and you do giveaway, then you'll able to rank. Some keyword you need to do like a external traffic. You need to do the you need to do the PPC and double purchase, then you'll get rank. So there
Okay.
is a level of game what we need to play here. If
Yeah.
you don't know that what level you need to play for your keyword, you're probably gonna sitting over there for long and finding what the fuck is happening actually.
Yeah. So you mentioned one thing, which was the purchase intent keywords. How do you identify a more generic? I think a lot of shoppers, and obviously depends on the product category and type and the cost of the product, etc. If they don't know specifically what they're looking for, that's where maybe you get those broader level things
Yep.
like garlic press. And then you get in and you see a bunch of generic stuff, but then you start to see one that's a little bit more unique. And you're like, oh, I want to see if there's more like that with a ceramic garlic press. So I
Yeah.
go, and then maybe I get further down the funnel as a shopper where I'm basically learning information that helps me hone into more purchase intent specific oriented keywords. How do you identify which is which? Just looking,
Sure.
because most of what we have access to is the, external software tools that tell us the actual volume. Maybe we've got Amazon stuff that shows search frequency rank. If we've got the search query performance, we start to dive into more of the brand analytics data. But how are you identifying before you've even launched the product ones that you believe or hypothesize to be purchase intent versus other ones?
Perfect. That's an amazing question. So it's basically it's all comes in a brand analytics. That's what I'm saying. It's
Okay.
super available. The data are available. When you add all of your conversion in your brand analytics data, take a keyword and add all your conversion of the competitor and the top three competitor. And
Yep.
if it's like above 15 percentage, actually, it is a conversion keyword, and that's a purchase keyword. If it's a below 15 percentage, it's just like a browse keyword actually completely.
So you're saying the top three ASINs combined have 15% of the conversions, or each one is over 15%?
No, combination of
Okay,
three,
got
it's
it.
like a
Okay,
15%. So,
makes
but it's
sense.
okay. Again, let's go more deeper, right? It changes in the categories. For example, if you go
Sure,
to the clothing might have like only like a 5% above could be like a purchase keyword,
that's
and
fair. Yep,
about
yep.
2% there will be like a browse keyword actually. So you need to be like check what is the average purchase, what is the average conversion looks like for that category, and then what is your minimum and maximum you can able to find out for that one particular category.
Okay,
So
makes
when you
sense.
have that information, but in general, what I see, 15% is actually, it's like if
Okay,
it's like a below 15%, I would call that a browse keyword. If it's above 15%, we call
okay.
that like a purchase keyword actually
And
completely.
so you've identified, you've identified purchase keywords. Again, tactically speaking, and there's multiple phases. Maybe it depends on how big the category is, etc. But is the general playbook that you target each of those purchase keywords individually in a separate pay-per-click campaign and identify the budget that you believe is necessary to
Yeah.
get the traction? And then if that doesn't work, then maybe you throw in Google ads. If that doesn't work, you're looking at other
Yep.
strategies on top of that. Is that just, so is the starting point always I start at one point and I build from that and just see if it
That
doesn't
is
work and
correct.
I lean into
So
it? Okay.
we have a way to calculate how many minimum clicks are what I need, or what is the maximum clicks or what I need. I don't want to give more than that clicks.
Okay.
So initially when I'm building it, I don't, so let's say that my minimum clicks is like 15 and the maximum clicks is like a 200 or 100, right? I don't want to give more than like 15 to 20. I want to
Okay.
keep it in the middle. So then I will find in the minimum click itself, okay, let me go back a little bit, right, on this. Most of the brand, when they launch the product, after finish the launch, they don't focus on the keywords. They just focus on
Yeah.
ROI, ACOS, and whether the that's another freaking thing I hate about. Like I've seen agencies like they don't even look for the keywords, which is like they only check for a performance keyword. What about the keywords is like can be performed and not performing and dead actually on that one.
Yep.
So eventually it will die on the way going. It's like it start from 0 1, like it's go from 10 5 1 and 0, it becomes 0, and then they like completely destroy the keyword actually.
Yep.
So what happened is basically there's some brands, the previous brands, they don't focus on all the keywords, so you don't need to give like a huge amount of clicks for all the keywords. You just like give like a what is the minimum amount of requirement, what is required, and then you build slowly. When you see the ranking is popping up, you slowly increase it actually at that point. Sometimes with the minimum value itself, you're able to rank it. That's where we focus on very very minimum keywords, which is like even we rank for like we try to rank for like 500, 300, 200, 100. We did one test. We did a test of like a zero search volume, zero sales, a zero search volume, zero sales keywords actually, literally. But what had happened is like it has a hierarchy of keywords, right? So for example, browse keyword and as a purchase keyword, and a purchase keyword has like a hierarchy of like a low keyword, high keyword, below keyword. So this low keyword helped me to rank the medium level keyword. The medium level keyword rank
Interesting.
the higher level keyword. The higher level keyword rank a browse keyword. So we structured that way. So we
You're
spent
winning buckets, basically, is what you're saying. Like if you,
yeah,
regardless of the search volume, obviously it's multifaceted, but if
yeah.
you bucket purchase intent keywords and focus on all of them, even if you're not winning on, say, the middle top ones, if you're winning on the lower ones, that's going to contribute, even if you aren't getting the clicks, conversions,
Yeah.
sales velocity on
So
those bigger ones.
I done a one launch, bro. I'll be honest with you. I did like one of the brand I work with. They were like, oh, they want to focus on bigger keyword. I was like, no, that's not a great idea. Right back. We spend close to I think 15 grand. Similar product we launch by bucketing your purchase keyword. We spend 5 grand to launch this key, the 5 grand product where we launch, which able to sustain the ranking. This product where we ranked, it come back, fall back, or right back away, back in there.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference. Think about it. Right now, we're not spending huge amount of money. We like, okay, when the transition comes, we slowly reduce the budget. We slowly transition to a maintenance phase. We slowly transition to the growth phase. And also we map it each and every keyword, like whether what complexity it is. If I reduce it, the keyword goes down or up or down or whatever it is. We will make sure we measure that one. And that's a future reference for me. So if I put like a C5, that means the C5 had like need to have like a special attention, or sometimes you were not able to rank for C5. You don't focus on the C5. Hi, the C5 is like when somebody did mistake on your category, or somebody messed up something. That's the point you need to be like go up on the top. Actually, try to be push it on the top. Until then, you just have to pray and wait until somebody is going to do a mistake. But somebody is going to make a mistake actually, like crazy, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So
Love it, man. So a couple things. First of all, this is fascinating. I love this stuff. I mean, this gets my my blood flowing. It's super exciting and fun, fun to chat about. And we kind of talked about this offline. I think this will be a multi-part one. So I think this is like a good foundational conversation just to kind of talk about a way to think about launches that maybe a lot of people haven't talked about. I think we'll do another part, which we'll kind of get in and maybe get into real examples and kind of chop it up on that.
Yeah.
I guess to close out this part one of it, what is there anything that you believe is going to be happening the next 6 to 12 months that most people are not aware of, that maybe you haven't even completely figured out yet, but you think is coming related to launches on Amazon?
As I mentioned before, right now Amazon is focused on more on the purchase intent, and also Oh yeah, all right. I forgot. I'll tell you this. It's very interesting. Okay, I forgot to tell you this. All right, this is what is happening. You know how we do before when we have the. Oh my God, this is so crucial, bro. This is so important. Like, oh my
Love it.
God.
Hit us with it.
Like, yeah, seriously. So I've seen this for multiple products. I've done it for multiple products. It works phenomenally well, actually. And this is how we can win right now at this point. This is going to be for next 6 months. Very good, actually. So in 2017, 2018, or even from 2015, well, that's what I know about Amazon, right? What do we do is like when keyword performing, we take that keyword, put it in a title, bullet points, and all other places actually. Why? To perform much better. Why? Because it's a relevancy model. The number of times you repeat the keyword, you will get the better relevancy and you get the better ranking actually for that one. Right now, what is happening is if the keyword is performing, you put it in your content, in an image content. So that builds a super high relevancy for the listing and for that keyword. It works phenomenally well actually.
Great. Love that. So, I mean, the point is that Amazon's not just scanning titles, bullets, etc. And you don't even need to have some keywords in those content areas to rank. Yeah. But if you start to add it to images, they're pulling and extracting that meta level data and associating that situation visually,
exactly,
which includes maybe keywords in those things, associating it with your listing.
No, it's basically like, for example, let's say that you're you're performing for mid-age product something, right? You're showing your listing with a mid-age woman.
Got it.
With a family, with the characteristic of it, anything, you have it there. So you will rank, you get to build the relevancy for all the mid-age characteristic of the person actually.
Yeah. Love it.
So it's a most important thing I would say. And then the second thing is I would strongly suggest everybody at this point who's hearing this, if you have a listing who's pretty much doing amazing, start updating your content actually every at least 2 weeks, at least one level of content. So that's the difference between a honeymoon period and non-honeymoon period. Is basically like you can build the honeymoon period right now by putting up a no content actually every single time. So Amazon is like looking for a new content. They don't want like a 10 years old content in the listing and then like people are like looking at the same product and the same thing. So they want people to refresh the images really well every single time. That will help them to be fresh in the listing. They're not going to be eBay or anything. So it's like basically like they become like a very fresh content. If you take a look at any kind of bigger products, at least you might have seen it. Some people have like a 25,000 reviews, like 100,000 reviews. The people who have like a 5,000 reviews, 1,000 reviews, they're taking over the listing actually now.
Yep.
Why?
Because they're not sitting on their hands. They're adjusting.
They're like scared to touch the listing because before the relevancy model, if you touch anything, the number of counts down, then it will affect your listing actually at that point. Right now, that doesn't work like that. So you need to touch your listing, you need to update your content. But the one of the secret is basically do not delete the images, move your images, because your image could be indexed somewhere in Pinterest, somewhere in social media, and you might have get a clicks from that place. So you don't want to lose that one as well. So
Okay.
you take that link, put it in your EBC in the bottom, some level of like, okay, previous image or whatever it is, put it in the bottom so that you have a reference for it. Somebody's like, this is where most of the people lose it, the external traffic. But because think about it, how many people get link on the backlinks on the images actually?
Yep.
Right. So if your listing is super old and you remove that listing images, you're probably going to lose that one completely.
Okay. Makes sense. Dude, I love this conversation. I love your approach to this game. No nonsense. And the other thing I really love about you too is like your value first, which is how I've always kind of thought about creating content in the Amazon space. Danny on Seller Sessions is the exact same way. You're cut from the same cloth.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mentioned to you before we jumped on the call, like, yeah, at the end we can kind of talk about, if there's a link, whatever for your services. And you're like, I don't even care about that. Like if I produce value, people will find me. So I love that about you. That being said, I still want to give you a quick plug here at the end. If someone's like, look, this makes a lot of sense, or I don't want to do my next launch alone, I want to kind of reach out to Colin. How do people reach out to you if they want to evaluate working with you on future
Sure.
launches?
Yeah, I have putting up a lot of content in Facebook, which is like Colin.Raja. You can able to find me there.
Okay.
If you have a problem in listing, if your product was selling really great and then you have all of a sudden something happen, I can do the listing audit actually for you guys, for free of cost, completely for Adam.
Cool.
So I'll put up the link if you want. Just
Yeah, we'll
schedule
put it in
a
the show
call.
notes. That works.
Yeah, we'll schedule a call with me, and we'll go over more in details. That's the one of my specialty of like bringing back the listing back live.
Okay. Love it, man. Well, again, I think this needs to be a multi-part series. So this was a great foundational part one. Maybe we'll have you on next month. We'll do part two. I think people are going to love this stuff. And you're a DJ and you're a boxer, so you keep Danny honest at least. Danny needs some competition on the
Oh yeah,
turntables and with the mitts
we're
on.
gonna compete in Vegas actually for sure. We're gonna compete in Vegas. It's gonna be
Love
super
it.
fun. Yeah,
Love it.
amazing. All right, well,
Love it.
thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's a great you have a great question, bro. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for
No, it's
asking
fun,
great
man.
questions. Yeah,
This is
fine,
great. I
amazing.
mean, the way I look at these podcasts, it's like people I'd like to have a beer with and chat about this stuff with, and just like flick record, and other people get to pay attention. So selfishly, this is just stuff I want to learn, but I think that it's going to be super valuable for people. I love the way that you approach things, man. And thanks for dedicating, an hour-ish of your time to this. Look forward to chatting more with you, and keep doing what you're doing, man. I love that there's some
Thank you.
crazy obsessives that are digging into shit that maybe we don't have the time to dig into, and sharing those
We can
learnings
dig
with
it
us.
all the time, bro. We can dig it
Yeah.
all the time, anytime you
Yeah.
want, actually, for sure. Thank you
Cool.
for having me.
All right, buddy.
Great. All
Thanks,
right,
man.
thank